and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about Court of Dreams. We're 4 of 4, okay? We are at the end of the what? Demons of Fire and Night World. I had to make sure because I got it wrong in the last one. So let's jump right into the Goodreads synopsis and then we'll get into my thoughts. Yeah. Court of Dreams by C.N. Crawford. Exiled from the Shadow Fae, I'm left out on London's streets. The Knights of the Institute are dying of the plague and they're sure I'm to blame. Desperate to speak to Rudin, I invade the Institute. Then things take a turn for the worse. Like tortured in a tiny prison cell worse. Seems like Rudin has completely betrayed me. But when I'm finally reunite with my dark demigod, it turns out I totally misunderstood his actions. Once I'm out of jail, Rudin and I have to fix this mess and we're thrown together once again. That means finding my father and killing Baleros before the monster gets what he's after. The skin off Rudin's corpse. If Baleros gets what he wants, then he'll control the world and I'll lose Rudin forever. This is the final book in a 4-book series. Court of Shadows, Court of Darkness, Court of Night, Court of Dreams. This book is from the Demons of Fire and Night World. I did not read this synopsis before I read the book. Like, when I tell you that's the first time I'm reading the synopsis, that's why I'm laughing, because, oh my god. Okay, let us get right into my thoughts, okay? Okay, let me give you a quick rundown of the plot, and then I'll get into the points that I want to be talking about in this video. So the Knights of the Institute are stricken with the plague and think it's Leora's doing. She goes into the Institute to see if Rudin is okay after hearing from Madan that he is dying from it. She sees that he isn't and gets imprisoned. After that, he gets Nyxabus to invade his body. The word is really getting away from me, but Nyxabus possesses him. Oh my gosh, why was that so hard? Nyxabus possesses him and tests everyone to see who the actual intruder is, who the person is that spread the plague. Everyone passes except for a rookie named Barry, who later on we find out that he was being controlled by Baleros. So after this, Rudin and Leora go on a journey to look for her parents so her dad can reverse the plague and save the Institute, since she tried and made it worse. So remember that the Shadow Fae are literally dying of the plague for like 98% of this book. At the end of the book, Baleros controls Adonis, like she finds them. They get to the church where Baleros is hiding Adonis, her mom, and literally everybody from the village of Eden. Baleros is controlling Adonis and makes him release death magic from himself and kill everyone, including Rudin and except Leora. She shoots Adonis with an arrow that is coated with, the tip is coated with her blood, thinking that she killed him. Then she goes, attacks Baleros, carves the signal of Nyxabus into him, and then kills him. Both what is her name? Both Emerald and Nyxabus come through to get Baleros' soul, because remember, he's playing both sides here, and they end up tearing his soul in half, permanently killing him. She then goes outside and pulls all of the death magic into herself, and everyone is revived. She's reunited with her parents, and at the end, she marries Rudin. Right. Let me get into my thoughts on this, okay? Remember when I said that for 98% of this book, everyone in the Institute is dying of the plague? Like, she can see that they're actively rotting from the inside out from the plague. How many times do her and Rudin boink? How many times do her and Rudin smash throughout the duration of this book? Twice. I'm not gonna lie. There were better sex scenes than the first one. There were better smeg scenes than the first time they did it in the last book, Court of Night. But my gosh. While all your homies are peacing out, is this really the opportune time to be doing this? They wasted so much time jumping each other's bones. I was so annoyed. But anyways. My next point is, for a series that started off with such strong emphasis on friendship, she seems to completely forget about Melisande and Sierra in this. Because at the beginning of the book, she is holed up with Sierra in some guy who's obsessed with Faye. He's rich and obsessed with Faye and has a kind of penthouse type situation right across from the Institute. Like, if you go on his balcony, you can see the Institute. Her and Sierra are holed up in this man's apartment, basically using him for accommodations. She gets drunk and leaves, and this is when she invades the Institute, leaving Sierra in this stranger's apartment for the entire book. The entire book. The only time we see Sierra again, or even get any mention of her, is at the wedding, which is in the last, like, 5 pages of the book. And then Melisande, her other friend, and I'm going to use this term lightly here, Melisande is actively dying from this plague. And, like, seeing your friend dying is not enough to get you to, like, pull the plague inside you in the first place, because I don't think it would have taken anything away from the plot if she had healed the Shadow Fae at first. That's just my opinion, but yeah, I was just like, from Court of Shadows, the first book, and how her main goal was to save Sierra, it's just a stark night and day difference. Stark night and day difference, and only for some peeing. Wow. Anyways, moving along. My next point. Leora is a lot more likable in this book than the last one, because I remember saying that she was pretty irritating in the last one, because her entire goal was just, oh, I need to hide my identity. It was annoying. It was very annoying. But she's a bit more likable in this one. The romance was more believable because they were actually acting like they like each other in this one. However, I didn't like that she kept withholding information from Reardon even after they had that conversation where they basically they made a decision with each other that they were going to trust each other and tell each other the truth because they love each other. They are in love with each other. They have told each other that they love each other. Yet when Nyxobous was possessing Ruoden and had thrown someone into the void so that they can be tested, he basically told Leora, like, you know how this is gonna go. Like, first of all, he told her that she could fix it. And then the second thing he told her is, you know how this is gonna go. Like, he's going to die at the end. She does not tell him. It takes some form of test, basically, in order for them to get into this weird carnival. They had to put in a coin, and then a little puppet asked them a question, and they had to tell the puppet the truth. So I asked her, oh, what did Nyxobous say? And she lied at first, and then it's just like, oh, that's a lie, you can't gain entrance. So Riordan is just like, why don't you just tell him what he said? So that's when she revealed what Nyxobous had actually told her. And I'm like, you are going feral over this man every single time you see him. Like, every time he is in danger, it seems like you're about to pop a blood vessel in your forehead. But yet, why are we having an issue telling him the truth? That's the one thing that was irritating me. Because from Ruoden, kinda, sorta, ish, decided that he had feelings for her, he been telling her the truth. Like, he been dropping tidbits of his life and not holding stuff back from her. But she's not telling him. You know, if that's how they want to conduct their relationship, who am I to tell them no? Who am I to tell them no? But yeah, those are the points that I had. Now moving on to the questions that I have since the series has now concluded. I'm still left with some questions. I wrote them down. First question, why couldn't they have killed Bolero sooner? Like, if that's all it took, if all it took was carving the sigil of Nyxobous onto his chest and then killing him, why they didn't kill him sooner? I don't get it. Like, along that same vein, because they did kill Boleros due to, you know, him playing both Emerauzel and Nyxobous. Along that vein, my next question. They keep reiterating that the gods know all and are in charge, but yet Emerauzel and Nyxobous didn't know that Boleros was playing both of them, that he was playing both sides, to the point where they had to, like, sibling divide his soul in half at the end. I don't get it. I don't understand. But moving along. Adonis just forgave Rudin for everything, and Rudin just forgave Adonis and forgave and fell in love with Leora, even after they basically killed his entire Shadow Fate team, his brothers, and his wife. I would think that it would require a little bit more work before this could happen. Because it's not like there's any significant time jumps. Or really many time jumps in this book. Because even from chapter to chapter, like one chapter will end and then it's like right into the same plot in the next chapter. Like for instance, one chapter will end like, oh, and we walked through the cave door and were met with darkness. And then the next chapter will start with Rudin lit up a light so that we could see through the darkness, blah, blah, blah. There's no jumping of anything. There's no scene changing. It just runs right into the next chapter. So clearly everything is happening in progression. And I'm sorry, it couldn't be me. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. But speaking of his wife, my next question goes into why we don't know much about her. Like, they mentioned her once. He basically spoke about her, which was the only mention, that she died from the plague. That's it. Who was she? What did you guys do? Like, is there anything we need to know about your relationship? You just had a wife. That's it. Like, no information. Okay, cool. Anyways, whatever. Moving along. Madan's death in this was so lackluster. Like, we spent the entire series growing a strong dislike for him, only for him to be beheaded mid-air. And then that's it. His death consisted of like one sentence in the book. And it was after he was thrown into the void and turned into a demon. I don't understand. What you mean to tell me you have written this man for 3 books straight, actually 3.5 books straight, being a complete creep and just increasingly irritating, but yet all we get is, oh, Rudin ripped out his wings and then he was falling towards me and I beheaded him. That's it? That's all you gonna give? All right. And speaking of Madan, again, I love that my questions are following a flow, you guys. But speaking of Madan, where his daddy at? Where his papi at? Where his dad? Where is his father? Is he not now like a threat? Because he seemed to have been working with Boleros this whole time. And as far as I'm concerned, he wasn't mind controlled to do it. So where is he? Where he at? Is he gonna get dealt with? Are there gonna be consequences? Was he okay with his son being thrown into the void? Because he seemed to have an issue with him being imprisoned in the Institute. So what's going on? What's happening? Where he at? Is he just back being king of Elfame? Is that what's happening? Okay. Alright. I just want to know. Also, speaking of missing people, where's Queen Nan? Anne Boleyn, where's she at? Where's Rudin's sister? Is she still queen of Emain, or did his mom just take over the title? Like, did she regain her title? And she's just princess? Like, wasn't she queen for like 15 years, the sister? Are they co-queens? Because his mom don't seem like someone who would want to share her titles. So, what's happening? Anyways, that's all the questions that I had in regard to this series. If y'all want to read it and share in this experience, please feel free. If you have read it, tell me in the comments what you think, and if you still had the same questions, or if you like got some form of answers from reading between the lines, because I guess. But I will see y'all in my next one. Bye.